got the heaters on. It's 2 degrees Celsius, so I'm trying to bring the temperature up a little bit. Just glassing in and putting some temporary bracing in, putting in the initial framing for the quarter berth. Just getting those in place. And I got this wall here done. And I'm just letting that harden. So basically I mixed the West epoxy together. The 105 with the 205. That's the fast hardener version. And I've also put in some microfibers. The West System microfiber 403. Basically it's a filler. I probably could use it for filling, but I just use it to thicken it up. And basically just doing the initial dabbing to glue it in place. And then afterwards, I've still got to do this front edge here. I'm just letting this sort of heat in place. And then I'm going to finish off the next batch. So, progress. One thing I forgot to mention, or actually I was kind of excited pulling the engine out, but I forgot to push record here on the camera, but my engine's gone. So yesterday I had the engine pulled, and we basically just tied a strap to the top of the engine and then just pulled it up. It's only mounted on those 4 bolts. And that's just above the stuff it box down there, which is where the shaft goes out. So what I've done is just sort of temporarily screwed the stairs back in place while I work so I can get in and out of the cabin. And I put my initial wall up, and those are all initially glued in place. And I've got a second coating actually down here. So I did these 2 here first. And those are a little bit more, a little bit more secured in here now. And then what I did is just to keep the alignment is I put this huge thick board in place for across all of the boards. There's one on each side, and I just sort of clamped them together and I screwed them in place so they don't move. And they're just kind of holding all of the beams straight, so I have a straight wall. And I took my measurements. The boat's got a slight lean in it, so everything straight according to the lay of the boat is 89.4 degrees, not 90 degrees. And interestingly enough, it's actually 89.4 this way as well. So I just have to kind of keep those measurements as I go along and build my walls together. So I'm sitting in the quarter berth. The bed frame is going to come out right here, and that's basically going to be the bed. Right here, there'll be a slight frame for the floor to come up, so it'll be a flat floor entry starting right here. So I'm going to be making a piece to go across here, and then when you step in, and then I'm going to just make sort of like a desk style. So I'm going to create an overhang so there's a little table, and then behind a couple of cabinets. Alternatively, if I don't put the cabinets there, I may bring the cabinets kind of along the side of the bed up until the point where it gets too skinny to have a cabinet at the back. And I just might put a port light window in the side here, one that doesn't open. And then I want to put another one on the inside of the cockpit cabin sole here, so that way there'll be light on both sides of that, the quarter berth. Well, it's a little dusty in here. I got the bottom inside panel on, and I had to grind out the edge of the I guess that would be the cockpit or the head, the cabin head fiberglass. I had to grind out this corner piece because it was sticking out. So I didn't touch the outside of the cabin, and then I'm just going to re-glass this here so that it's inside, and glass it right onto my beams here. But I had to grind it off with the grinder. I use that thing, 4.5-inch grinder, did a good job. So dust everywhere. And the mess. That was a lot of dust. Well, today I've got the task of putting insulation in. So basically on the inside of my panels, as you can see here, I'm putting some insulation in between all of the panels for all of the framing members. -5 Celsius, damn cold. I got the heaters going. The big whirling noise is actually my diesel heater revving up. Hopefully I can bring this here above zero. It's been sitting in here a day, getting a snowstorm. Life in Canada. I test fitted the panels yesterday. They look good. So I'm just going to remove this top one because I don't need to replace while I work on the insulation. Working in these awkward spots. So I'm going to be just measuring and filling in these spots. Side. This just to get a rough estimate of the shape. Alright, so it took about an hour and a half, and you can see there, let's put some supporting tape until I get the backing on, but basically the inside from that section is all the way done into the back. So I'm just going to put the panel up to hold everything in place, and I'm going to put a port light in. So I'm going to get that done as next projects. Then I'm going to foam around it and then put the plywood around it. So that's coming up next. First person view. One thing we're working in about all the shapes and angles. Everything takes 4 times as long, and it's totally awkward to stand in, sit in, put the tools in. It's not easy working on a boat. Okay, so just getting this one back in place. Strip that. I just want to hold that in. Those screws actually will come out once I glass it. So as I'm going to glue it down and then take these screws out. Alright, so just getting this frame in. This will be the quarter cabin door frame. So I was just framing that in using the West Systems epoxy, and just carefully cleaning up the mess so I don't have too much to sand. Basically, I got this section in here. Actually, it looks like apply a little bit of filler there. So it's looking pretty good. I just put a little dab on the top there, a little dab on the top of that cross beam, and this is just how I set it. So the first, I guess, coat that I put on to make it work for everything, I just sort of get a super light coat. It's basically acting like a glue. So I just kind of push it in all the seams. Looks like I got it in there, all right. And yeah, so I'm gonna come back tomorrow and let that dry. So that'll be the door frame and the two walls. So the next piece I take out now tomorrow will be the shelving unit that's on the side. So I'm going to have to cut out the rest of the bulkhead there. And as you can see, I've already made one wall down on the left hand side, so that'll be that wall. I basically just have to put one more piece in, extend it, and then a piece of bulkhead on the very, very edge to tie it in. And this side here, I've got all the insulation in, and I've got two panels. And because I wasn't 100% too sure the length, I let these ones here stick out a bit, and I'm just going to come here with the saw and saw it off right on the joint, so it'll be nice and flush. And then I've got to build one piece that will wrap around and end right here. And I need to build the inside of the door frame. I'm going to make that rounded, going across all the corners. And so I have a nice rounded door. And then I'll build the door last, I guess, maybe in the summer when it's nice and warm. Right now it was -7 Celsius last night, so a bit cold, but it's coming together. I didn't want to sand today because it was just too damn cold. It's about -1 at the moment, so it's warming up. Tomorrow it's going to be +5 Celsius. So tomorrow I want to sand down and then lay out some fiberglass tomorrow on the top. And I got my port window, so I'm going to put my port window in tomorrow as well. Providing it does get to actually +5. So to do my filling, basically what I'm doing is I'm putting in West Systems 105 resin, and I bought the pumps. So I'm using the 205 fast hardener, and with these pumps it's basically 1-to-1. So there's an inner cavity that's on the pump that holds 5 times the amount of this, and I think it's a 1-to-5 ratio is what it does. So it makes it super easy. And then basically I just use these little bowls. They're paper bowls. I don't know what you call them, Dixie bowls or something. And then I basically just pour them in there and I do my mix. And I use the West System 403 microfibers. It's more of a filler. I think I can use this to make it really nice and smooth and sand, but it works fine for the first glue, just to thicken it up. So I'm using that. So basically I put 2.5, well, not spoonfuls, but 2.5 rounded tongs, I guess, I don't know what you call those, and one pump. So if I do 2 pumps, then I put 5 little scoops of this thing here. So I just keep using the same one over and over again. It seems to be working out okay. I'm getting a little bit better at it as I go. The first one I did kind of, I have a drip everywhere. This one here. And then my most recent one, you can see it's just a little bit tighter. It doesn't seem to spill out as much. That's one with 2 coats on it. That's one with 2 coats on it. So when I do my fiberglass netting on the bottom, it's going to make a big difference. So it'll make it a little bit more of a smoother arc, so the cloth will have a less time having a hard bend on the corner. So Sorry about having to keep flipping views here. My battery keeps dying. I think I need to change the battery in the little camera down there. Okay, so I'm going to do my best to hold this phone in some fashion so you can see what I'm doing. So essentially, I got to take this little bowl, and I'm going to put one. And now I've got to put that up here. Put one of these, and I just normally kind of put this over here into the heat a little bit, just to make it more liquidy. Basically, I'm just warming it up a little bit. I can see that that's moving around quite a bit better. All right, so then I take, that's a half. That's a one. It's kind of like just like kind of a heaping end. So I put that in. And then I just take my stick and I start to mix. And obviously this is not working with me holding on to the camera. As you can see, it gets pretty thick like that. So I'm just going to keep stirring it, and then I'm going to go apply it over there. This is just another little spot. Afterwards, I'm going to put some actual cloth into the joint. Right now, this is just going to, I'm going to put the cloth in. This will be a lot more filled. I have to come back here with another round and actually fill in the entire hole and gap. So I'm going to do that. But right now I just wanted to get it sort of like tacked in a couple spots so that way it doesn't move. So this will be good enough just to kind of get it in place. A couple spots here. Probably have to make a little bit more, I think, because I'm doing a lot more now for this one. It's hard to do this while holding the camera like this. My other one would be a lot better. All right, so I kind of got like a top joint touching nicely. And I got the bottom, I got a couple sides. I'm just putting this in here. Looks pretty good. And yeah, so I'm going to carry on doing that, and then tomorrow I'm going to fill in the gap